So today I read this paper, ToolOrchestra, which is very interesting. It talks about how small models can be converted into very powerful orchestrators for agentic workflows. And this is what I'm also interested in, to make small models perform very efficiently in agentic workflows. As I often discuss, using a bigger model for agent slows it down, it costs a lot of money, it's just not efficient. And here in this paper they show that the same findings and how we can train a smaller model to do what we expect from agentic workflows. So let me take you over this paper, highlight some of the things that I found interesting, and some of the things where I believe the paper can improve, or they can at least provide some code or some implementation that we can immediately try out. So they show that small orchestrator, which is managing different tools and different large language models, can basically improve the efficiency, um, and it can solve very like difficult agentic tasks. They do it by using reinforcement learning, and they have three different kind of rewards: outcome, efficiency, and user preference aware rewards. So we'll talk about that. And ultimately they end up producing an orchestrator model, which they call the orchestrator, and it's an 8 billion parameter model, which we understand is not big by today's standard. The interesting thing is that the benchmarks they use are very difficult. For example, humanity's last exam, HLE, Tau bench, and frames. So, and they show consistently better performance than using frontier models as orchestrator. So this is cost versus humanity's last exam accuracy, and we can see that the orchestrator is definitely efficient in cost, and it is better than any other model used as orchestrator. So of course this is not a new area. Like agent tool use, all that has a lot of research being done these days. So but they most of the agentic workflows focus on a single powerful model that has the responsibility to call different tools, validate the output, and so on and so forth. But this is not how they argue that this is not humans' work. So when reasoning, humans routinely extend themselves by calling upon resources of greater than human intelligence. So they talk with domain experts, they can use external tools, they can use softwares. So motivated by this observation, they propose orchestration paradigm, and in this system, we don't expect a single model to be very intelligent. We expect a composite system that overall performs the job. So this is a high level image explaining what the orchestrator is doing. So user asks a query, and then the orchestrator, which is 8 billion model, have access to a variety of tools. And you will note that the tools are conventional tools like local search, web search, code interpreter, but also there are large language models being offered as a tool, which means that orchestrator can call these language models whenever it needs. It can also call the generalist large language models. For example, for math, it can choose to call Quen Math. For code, it can choose to call Codestrel, and so on and so forth. And then after we have the full trajectory, we can get a reward, three kinds of reward: outcome, efficiency, preference, and we can give the feedback to orchestrator, and over time it will train to perform this task very efficiently in the lowest possible cost. So orchestrator, as we know, alternate between reasoning, at least React kind of framework alternates between reasoning and action. So reasoning here is done by the orchestrator in chain of thought form, and then there is standard tool calling. But as I said, so tools now and also include different large language models, and then we get the response back, and then the orchestrator continues. It will end when the orchestrator believes that it has found the answer, or total number of iterations, which is set to 50, is reached. At that time, we'll just stop this reasoning and tool calling tool response loop. So yeah, so few repetitions of what we have already seen. So so we find, like, when we give a single model and we expect that model to do everything, so the system become brittle and it introduces systematic biases. For example, if we use GPT-5 as an orchestrator and we give it various different models, it delegates most of the task to GPT-5 mini, so it obviously have a bias toward this model. Similarly, Quen 38 billion have a bias toward GPT-5. It tries to give more tasks to GPT-5 than other models. Or they can sometimes use the strongest tool or strongest model for doing everything, which is okay. But of course, when it comes to cost, we don't want that to happen. We want the optimal cost or the minimum cost to perform the task. Cost can be in terms of compute money, it can be in terms of memory, it can be in terms of time. So here we can see GPT-5, mostly when we have a GPT-5 prompted orchestrator, it delegate the task to GPT-5 mini most of the time. Quen delegate to GPT-5 most of the time, and this is the orchestrator, which we can see has more balanced kind of probability of calling different models. So here, like, this is a novel training method to train a small orchestrator, which will be a brain of heterogeneous tool use agent. So it balances three objectives: correctness of the final outcome, efficiency, and alignment with user preference. Um, and they also present automatic data synthesis that generate thousands of examples in various tasks, various domains, and they have open sources data as tool scale. I wish they would open source the whole framework, but I couldn't find it. Um, Humanity last exam, as we understand, is a very difficult kind of data set. It has like 2,500 or something examples in various domains created by experts, and even frontier models don't are nowhere close to saturation on this benchmark. Tau Square Bench is three. It has three domains like telecom, retail, and airline, and this have user LLM, agent LLM, and they both talk to each other and call some tools to perform the task. These are the contributions. So introduce tool orchestra, training method, then we develop reward models, and then end-to-end system to show performance benefit of using a small model. Of course, if you have to apply RL, you have to formalize the problem as Markov decision process, and you can read this part, what each of this means here. But it's not so difficult to understand. It of course have the actions. It has the current state. It has the instructions, and so on and so forth. So so when we give a user task, orchestrator produce solution via iterative rollout, where we saw like it has reasoning step and then it has tool call step. So reasoning is done in chain of thought reasoning, and then we have tool call as action, and of course with tool call we will get tool response. And as I said, so the maximum number of turns we can do is 50. Small model, so And then one difference is that they have unified tool calling. So in contrast to prior tool agents, they broaden tool set to include domain specialized model and generalist models, and of course the conventional tool calls through a single unified interface. And this is very cool. This gives an idea how to explain it. So give a bigger model or a domain specific model as a tool, and then let the orchestrator call it whenever it needs. So it's like orchestrator does not know everything, but it can call an expert whenever it needs. So that's the closest analogy that I can come up with. Orchestrator doesn't need to know how to solve the task, it just need to know which expert to call. So and for large language models, as we know, so tools, all the tools need name, description, type parameter schemas. But for large language model described as a tool, there are some steps they are following. So they randomly sample 10 training tasks, obtain trajectories, then use another large language model to write a description, and so on. So ultimately, the large language model will also have similar description, name, and schema as a normal tool. So that's why they can now unify the tool calling. End-to-end reinforcement learning, we know whenever we talk about reinforcement learning, we need a reward. So there is a outcome reward where we have binary accuracy of whether the task was solved or not solved. They use GPT-5 to judge the answers. Um, and then there is latency, there is efficiency reward where they take the latency and cost and assign the greater it is because of this negative sign, the smaller the reward will get. And then there is a preference. So when like choosing the tool in each step, so how many times the number of tools is invoked, what tools are invoked, that gets a reward known as they call it preference reward here. Okay. For training, and there is some normalization going on. Training procedure, they use GRPO, which is standard group relative policy optimization. I will put a link to my talk on GRPO. You can see that to understand better. But in short, GRPO is that they generate multiple solutions, multiple answers to the query, and then we find the top and the bottom, like the worst responses and the best responses, and we pair them, and we learn to maximize the likelihood of good answers versus bad answers. So yeah, this will come to later. So data synthesis, to enable reinforcement learning training of orchestrator, they require a agentic tool call task, but we need verifiable data, um, which is scarce. So they provide a method to generate that kind of data. So by simulate, they like in step number 1, they simulate a rich user agent tool environment. I'll show you in the figure. And then in step 2, generate diverse user tasks together with the correspondence ground truth based on the environment. So this is how they're doing it. So they have a domain, let's suppose movie booking, and they use a large language model to create a database entries, something that can later be used for generating question and answers. So they have a set of tools now that the agent can call. This is also LLM generated, and then they synthesize the data where they have the input kind of database. They have the tools that can be called for each of the question. For example, cancel the ticket and refund. This is also generated by a large language model. They sample some of the tools out of the tool generated, and they then create the queries out of the sample tools, and then the gold actions that need to be taken. So this is a good approach which can be scaled to produce a lot of data in various domains very quickly. They of course do filtration to remove the task if the answer was not reached, if the golden function call reports an error, LLM was not able to solve it, and so on and so forth. Um, yeah. So for the tools, they have many tools. They are using Tavili for web search APIs, Python sandbox for code interpreter, then some model for math, some models for local search, and so on and so forth. So these are the specialized large language models, which are some of the models are prompted for code writing, others are for math, and then there are generalist model, which can be called for more general tasks. And then they give a very detailed evaluation on HLE, where no tools are available, basic tools are available, basic tools plus specialized large language model, generalist large language models are available. And this is where they show a big performance jump compared to other models. So we can see that when basic tools are available, GPT-5 can already give 35%. But their claim is that in an environment where we don't leave everything to a single model and we let the single model call other models and other tools for help, we see GPT-5 performing only 21 on humanity's last exam. We'll see similar results on Tau Square Bench also. So these are the benchmarks. And if we see, for example, the proportion of tool calls made by large language model to solve a task, um, in GPT-5 calls GPT-5 mini a lot, Quen calls GPT-5 a lot, orchestrator has a more balanced kind of tool call compared to others. This we already saw in the beginning. So cost analysis, we can see that because of smaller model, it is very cost efficient. At the same time, it shows very good accuracy. We can see some more results, some related work. So, and finally the conclusion, and there is of course appendix that is very interesting, and I will highly recommend you to go over it, but I will skip that. And the conclusion here is that ToolOrchestra is a method for training small orchestration models that unify basically diverse tools and specialized models. They train it by end-to-end reinforcement learning, and then it enables the agent to dynamically balance performance cost rather than relying on static heuristics in purely supervised approaches. Okay. They also give a synthetic data set that can be very useful called tool scale, and they are able to obtain state of the art performance. So it was a very nice read, and the overall goal, as I said, to use a smaller agent for orchestration in agentic workflows is very powerful. So this is where the world is moving. In production system, we cannot afford to have huge models do every task by themselves. It is just not cost or time effective by any standard. Thank you.